High Plains Technology Center, turning education and training into workplace success.
Oh, back to school, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
High Plains Technology Center, education at the speed of business. School is now in session.
All right, here we are Wednesday morning. Taylor Burnett with you, High Plains Technology Center. Had to step out last week. I was supposed to be in Orlando, wound up being in Wichita. This thing called the hurricane got in the way for me, but hey, still traveling. I'm getting to represent High Plains. So I usually say, man, I'm so excited. I've got this person on, the best person around, but I'm not going to say that this week. No, I'm just joking. What I really anticipate this morning is I bring the energy. This person probably is going to bring the energy as well, but there's no telling what's going to come out of his mouth. So I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, this is Jathan Medina, High Plains Technology Center. And yeah, I'll bring some energy to it.
And Jathan, what is your title exactly?
My title out there is on the industrial safety training. I do a lot of different safety training for numerous different industries. But mainly it's a lot of the forklift, a lot of rescue, confined space work, fire brigade things.
Yeah, you have been a fireman lately almost, kind of.
Almost haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But a lot of it mainly is just in our district or region area for our tech center is a lot of just 1 hour safety meetings for different companies and different industries that I cover for them. And that's basically what I'm doing there.
So when you're talking about the 1 hour classes, you know me, I'm going to go all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember exactly what you just said just last. When you talk about the 1 hour classes, a lot of people really don't understand what came about with that. And a lot of that's due to ISNet and Veriforce and PEC and things like that, correct?
Right.
So
Correct.
what is that? What are you doing with those 1 hour courses in essence?
So in that 1 hour, what we are covering for them is basic ISNet safety, Veriforce, whatever it may be, PEC. But we're
They
covering,
usually have to be on all three of those poor
and
people.
some of them are all three. Some of them aren't under any of that.
Yes.
But what they are trying to
The rebels, the true rebels.
Yeah, the true rebels, the lawbreakers.
Yeah.
Okay. But what we are covering is under any OSHA, ANSI, certification standards or safety courses that their employees have to go through and have to have in order to meet their industry standards to stay in with safe practices of whatever their employees may be doing or dangers or hazards that they may see throughout their work through the year there.
And they enable them to go on site, in essence, is what this is, and really when it comes down to it, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And they're checking a box so their employees can not only get on location, but mainly more than anything stay safe.
Correct.
What are some examples of some of those 1 hour courses? Because the reason why I'm asking you this, because I think a lot of times we have to go back to square one when we explain what we do. A lot of people don't understand the business and industry services side when we talk about things.
Okay.
They don't understand what we do when it comes to our side, what we can offer, how we want to help these area businesses grow. So when we talk about some of these 1 hour courses, what are some of them that you actually teach?
Okay, so some of them are basic just awareness classes without a certification, but they need the awareness level of it. So you got confined space awareness, electrical safety, fall protection, fire safety and extinguisher safety, hazard communication, H2S awareness, personal protective equipment, lockout, tagout, slips, trips, and falls, substance abuse, heat stress, cold stress. So that list goes on and on and on. Those are some few of them that just popped into my head automatically that I do every day.
What I love more than anything is the reason why I asked that and was prompted because Jathan actually brought notes. What a novel concept for our show this morning. You know, when you talk about a lot of those things, some of the things people might laugh about, people might not take serious, but are three things, in my opinion, that are very serious. The number one injury a lot of times that occurs on work is what?
The number one injury?
I'm putting you on the spot now.
The number one injury, slips, trips, and falls.
There you go, slips, trips, and falls. That is the one thing that people don't really think of. And when we deal with Northwest Oklahoma, when we deal with Woodward, Oklahoma, when we deal with our sending districts, when we deal with Beaver County, heat stress and cold stress, pretty serious stuff, is it not?
Very serious because, like right now, we're going from pretty severe heat to getting very cold really quick.
Fall, y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all. And so that happens so quick here in Northwest Oklahoma, your body doesn't have time to acclimate to the weather. So when it goes from extreme heat to extreme cold, different health issues can happen, heart attacks, cardiac arrest, shoveling snow, you're not in shape. Then you go to the dramatic heat part of it.
Why'd you look at Brett when you said you're not in shape? No, I'm just joking. Go
He's
ahead.
in way better shape than we are. Okay. But you go into the dramatic heat side of it too. There you're looking at heat stress and different things. So those are stuff that I cover with a lot of those 1 hour safety deals. You get into what I talk to a lot of companies about right now, like OSHA top 10 violations of fall protection, respiratory protection, ladder safety, hazard communication, lockout, tagout, PPE, forklift, machine guarding. They're hitting really hard on that right now. I just had a company here a few weeks ago in Woodward that got a visit by OSHA that was simply walked in the door and had questions about their forklift certification process. And it was a real simple deal because they do everything through us. They made a phone call to me. I got them some paperwork for all their certifications and things. And they said, man, we never thought that would ever happen. But now that these violations keep happening and OSHA puts out a top 10 list every year now.
They definitely do. Kind of a hit list, not a top 10 hits.
They will drive out there and make
Yes.
visits now, and you better have this stuff done and be able to have documentation to back it up.
The cool thing about not the cool thing, but the thing about it is now that, before OSHA was very reactive. But, just like anything, when they see a spike in certain situations and certain incidences, like you said, they become a little bit proactive, and that's why they're coming out. But I guarantee you, more than likely, what people don't understand is sometimes also there's that whistleblower scenario as well,
Yes,
correct?
that is correct.
So
It
you might
happens.
explain, you might have what a whistleblower scenario is.
A little bit of a whistleblower scenario could be where somebody doesn't feel like or not getting the proper safety training that they're supposed to have under standards in unsafe work practices. Because under OSHA says every single business has to offer and supply each employee a safe workplace away from hazards, dangers, health issues, things like that. So if somebody feels like
So many
they're-
people just turn their radios off probably
They-
right now. You talking about that.
I guarantee you they did.
100 was not happy. KWFX, sorry. But go ahead.
But that's why we're here. We're here to supply that safety training for them at a very, very affordable cost. That's great because we engage employees out there in businesses a lot better, I feel like, than some of the ordinary. But we have instructors that are very knowledgeable in it. They've actually had experience in it.
Yes.
So that helps tremendously.
Just tell a little bit about your background. You talk about you
Yeah.
really were probably a jack of all trades, master of none. when
It's 100%.
in your
It was
life.
100%. Yeah. But yeah, it's a oil and gas industry, firefighting industry. I've done heating and air. I've done HVAC systems, what I actually went to a tech school in Kansas to do. And every single one of those led me into something else. But forklift, confined space things, trenching and shoring stuff I had my hands in, contracting with contractors on major buildings with schools and government buildings. I mean, you name it, it is seriously a jack of all trades. But yeah, owned a couple of businesses up in Kansas and ran those for a while, which I feel like that has been the most beneficial thing I've ever done, because after that, every company I've worked for, I look at it as it's my own business, and I try to push forward where sometimes Taylor says, man, you're looking too deep into it. But that's my own business background, and I'm like, man, I want to push it. I want to push this. I want to do this. So
Yeah. So when you talk about things and when there's stuff out there, what's the number one safety violation that you catch yourself on? Because we all have that cowboy mentality,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Especially being guys, that's the way it is. Especially being older, so what's the number one safety violation that you actually have to check yourself on?
that I have to check myself, and I can't really say safety violation,
Okay.
but I would definitely say manual handling
Manual hand.
and
there you go.
PPE, personal
Yeah.
protective equipment,
Yeah.
100%.
Because, mine all the time, especially dealing with some of the different stuff that I do with, especially shooting fireworks shows, that manual handling, hey, I want to get done. I want to get finished. Sorry. R.I.P. Nanny. But I really want to get it finished. I want to get it accomplished. And that manual handling at times, towards the end of the day, wanting to get out of there when you're lifting something, twisting, turning, rotate, bend, push, pulling, can turn into one of the worst things in the world, can't it?
Well, and it's bad habits. We create those bad habits ourselves through the years, and that's why this safety training is in place, is to help people, because it takes a few seconds to pick up a bad habit, and it literally takes years to get rid of them.
Yeah, I really pray Mrs. Burnett's not listening, because she would agree with you on that. So when we're talking about things as well, Jathan, so what do you think teaching an adult, someone that has acquired a bad habit, the safety? Because a lot of times, a lot of the people that we have, those adults have learned those bad habits and haven't been told any different. Don't you think that teaching an adult someone to correct something is a little bit more difficult than when we go into TAP and teach them the proper way?
Yes.
Yeah. So what is that? What's the reasoning there?
It's very difficult because it's just like muscle memory. Once you've taught yourself that muscle memory and doing something wrong, your body naturally goes into that. What I recommend to people is you take safety practices like that, safe work practices home to your spouse and your children, because just like at work, we should hold each other accountable. They'll call you out on it. I promise you, my kids, my 3 sons, have called me out on more things than adults have, because I've tried to teach my kids the right things to do.
Yes.
And they'll say, Dad, you stop right there. You need this. You need
Stop
this.
work authority.
You need this PPE. You need to do this.
Way
And
to go.
it always makes me take a step back and go, yep, there's that cowboy mentality I picked up when I was younger.
It's
that
just
I'm
easy.
still trying to break.
Yes. Yep.
But it's holding each other accountable at home and at work is the biggest thing, is having other people that will help you with it.
Late great Nathan Brawley, one of my dearest friends in the world, used to always say, "Fast is slow and slow is fast."
Oh man, every single time.
Yep, and
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah, so it's just something to come across that you have to think about with that as well. So I know personally some of the stories that you've heard from people that you've taught before. Those real life scenarios that people have been in that have said, they've actually said thank you, those testimonials to you. And that's what, is the coolest thing. What's the driving force to make you want to stay, not other than your bosses, stay at High Plains, but what's the thing that really drives you and motivates you each and every day to do what you do?
Man, I share this story in almost every safety class, and I know some people get tired of it.
I'm already going to get tired of it. See you later.
I know you are.
Yeah.
But my biggest drive and motivation was when I was 7 years old. I drowned in my grandparents' pond on their farm. My mom pulled me out of the water, done CPR on me, ended up getting me back after about 3 or 4 minutes. But that is probably my biggest drive and motivation, because my mom has always told me through the years she never would have known what to do if she wouldn't have taken a class and had training.
Okay.
And so that right there, that always sticks in the back of my mind. People have to have training. In an emergency situation or an accident, your body and your mind will always revert back to the training you had.
That's Jack Day says that all the time, military guy. Yeah. He talks about our drills, safety coordinator for our school, talks about that all the time, and you're so right. We have even had people that know CPR backwards and forwards, haven't had their certification in a while, go out to your class and say, thank you, because I actually got into a scenario when I remembered what Jathan did.
Yeah. Yeah.
That has to be one of the coolest things.
It is.
As well.
It's wonderful. I just had one last week.
Okay.
I had an employee shot me a text message. He said, "Hey, I got your number from so-and-so. Went through your CPR first aid class. We had a little scenario with one of our children, and I had to call poison control." And he was like, "I never would have known to call poison control for my kids if this would have happened, if I wouldn't have taken a class from you guys at High Plains."
Plus, you really like playing Staying Alive while they're doing the
yeah, Justin Timberlake, Rock Your Body. That's a good CPR song.
Okay,
that's Taylor's favorite one.
Oh, for sure. So I just want to say thank you more than anything, and a lot of people look at us when we do things as trying to correct them with their businesses, and that's not what it's about. We're really about helping and trying to make them best. And safety is a measure a lot of people don't think about as business owners as well. But any last words?
Any last, stay safe.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
That's a
Stay
mic drop
safe.
moment.
That's right. And
Okay.
if there's anything anybody out there needs help with, feel free to call up at High Plains.
Give them your direct line, 571-61.
6141.
6141. Ask for Jathan with a J. Nathan with a J is what we always say. Jathan! 571-6141, right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a safe morning. We'll see you next week.